In our own USACE Safety and Health Requirements Manual, EM 385-1-1, there are references to the OSHA Act which specifically state the workers cannot be placed in an unsafe condition, that a safety and occupational health program will be implemented to help mitigate risk of serious injury or fatality. We don't expect you to know every requirement, not even us safety pros can quote every single one, but we do expect you to know the basics. The EM 35-1-1 has a number of sections that pertain to emergency operations, with Appendix B, Emergency Operations, specifically focused on this topic. In Section 31, Tree Maintenance, we see our tree mission clearly described with requirements set forth both by ANSI and other organizations such as the Tree Care Industry Association, TCIA. These sections are updated every 4 years based on changes to OSHA, ANSI, NFPA, NEC, and of course past emergency events USACE participates in. We have to get the mission accomplished, but we cannot do it without proper safety planning and risk mitigation. We can never eliminate all of the risk, especially not in a disaster response, but we can do the job as safely and effectively as possible. This is where an experienced USACE safety professional can assist. We are trained at recommending just the right amount of protection or PPE needed, and no more than that, saving funding needed for the missions you all have. Most importantly, we want you to go home safe and healthy, the way you arrived at your deployment. So what are the safety requirements for our USACE field heroes? To start with, everybody should have a position hazard analysis, or PHA, that covers the potential hazards in the emergency event environment and that also identifies what controls are needed to mitigate risk of accidents. See your supervisor if you don't have one. Your tasker will identify with what PPE you should deploy with. Standard equipment you must bring with you include a hard hat, safety-toed boots, a Class II reflective vest, and safety glasses. During the Hurricane Sandy response, NAD literally ran out of hard hats. We had to go to other divisions to find enough to cover not only our personnel, but all the visitors that showed up. You are responsible for your own PPE getting to your assignment. The first two safety documents you need to look for after an event occurs and USACE deployment looks imminent are the Health and Safety Plan, or HASP, and the Health Environmental Risk Assessment, or HERA. The HASP is the Accident Prevention Plan for USACE response personnel and is a requirement per EM 35-1-1. It identifies early safety hazards and recommended controls. For example, in an earthquake response, we might remind personnel that an initial earthquake is frequently followed by an even larger earthquake or aftershock, and to ensure your vehicles are stocked with a first aid kit, bottled water, enough supplies to last for 24 hours. The Health Environmental Risk Assessment, or HERA, is an evaluation by our USACE command surgeon about the human health risks based on the specific location and environment. It also includes recommended health actions, such as immunizations, recommended medications, or protective equipment that will help keep deployed staff protected downrange. For example, the HERA might include information about local blood supplies, local hospital expertise, level of mosquito infestation, and risks for environmental injuries. This information comes out from the Headquarters USACE Safety Office, should be reviewed by personnel before they deploy. Once you deploy, you will get a safety briefing from safety personnel at either the Recovery Field Office or the Emergency Field Office. This is where you will get site-specific safety information that will help keep you protected. So make sure you check in at the RFO and EFO. Don't bypass this vitally important step.